I think it's recording now.
Yes, it popped up, an alert popped up letting us know that you're recording it.
Okay, so I'll start the meeting now. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. If any of you guys have any questions, please go ahead and type them in the chat. Someone will be monitoring them and will be answering those questions, or you can defer them to at the end of the training. Okay. Is everyone able to see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so today we're going to be training on next-gen document management, also known as eFax. So we're going to be giving instructions and tips. What is eFax and how to access it? eFax stands for electronic fax. All fax documents sent to the clinic will populate in document management. To access eFax, we are going to log into NextGen document management. And please make sure you are also logged into Enterprise EHR as well, so you can review the patient's chart if the eFax has already been filed or if it is a duplicate report that we are receiving. You will find these documents under categories on EHR. How to access the eFax. Once you've already logged into document management, you will go ahead and click on batches. On the batches icon, it looks like this. A pop-up window will appear with a list of all the eFaxes. And we do work from the oldest to newest eFax. That way, we're caught up with the oldest to newest. Please make sure to uncheck show batches secure to me. So this will always automatically be checked off. So make sure to uncheck this off so we can see all of the eFaxes. Also, please make sure to add AAA on the bottom right corner of the pop-up where it says find batch. This is done so we don't lose our place when it refreshes and goes to the top of the list right here. So make sure to type in AAA. Scroll all the way to the bottom of the list to the oldest eFax labeled auto import. And please ignore all of those that say quick scan. How to file documents. So we open EHR to search and verify the date of birth of the patient, address, two identifiers at least, name, date of birth, or name, address. And we do recommend a dual screen when working on eFax or split screen if second monitor is not available. Let me see if I can show you guys how to do that. I don't have no one in the office. So I could take off my mask. Oh, give me 1 second. Let's see. So this is the EHR. How to do the split screen is you can minimize it, go ahead and slide it to the left or right. And then you can also, I'm not sure if you guys are able to see my screen since I changed it.
Yeah, we can see that you have EHR on the left and then the document management on the right.
Okay, sounds good. 1 second. Document management. I'm just gonna open this now. Okay. So you will open batches. And then when you do get the screen of the batches, you do have to manually fix this or set it up as your preference. Expand or minimize it won't do it automatically for you. So you guys do see both, right?
Yes.
Just to confirm, okay. So like I mentioned before, you do have to unclick this show batches secured to me, so you can be able to see all of the eFaxes that are populated, that we have received. And as you see, for me, I have the oldest to the newest. You can go ahead and filter that by clicking on created right here, and then it'll either go to the newest to oldest or newest to oldest. So let me go back to the document. Okay, so under document type, please select the category you are filing: medical note, labs, or optometry, radiology, etc. Type in the medical record number if you know it, or you can, I'll show you right now how you can search for it on EHR. So you can verify that it's the same patient on the eFax. And then once all fields are filled in, select File to scan into patient's chart. Let me go ahead and give you a demo on that. So when we go ahead and highlight one, we go ahead and right click and click on Open. That way you can view what is the eFax you are receiving. You can go ahead and click minimize this so you can view both. We do go ahead and hide the page of the cover fax when it's a radiology report or a medical note. And you do that by clicking on this icon of the guy with the mustache and the sunglasses. So you can zoom in by clicking here if you need to see the patient's date of birth, and you choose on EHR, you go ahead and click on patient lookup, select the patient, and we are going to go ahead and search for this patient's date of birth. So it's Santos
Excuse me.
Julia.
Hi.
Go ahead.
Diana, I'm sorry. Betty is asking a question in the chat. And to answer your question, Betty, will we be seeing only the faxes that pertain to each site? No, you're going to see everything for the whole clinic, everywhere. Everything is going to come in.
Yeah.
So I hope that answers your question. One other thing, Diana, is it okay if you just go through the PowerPoint and then show examples? I think that would be best.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so we go ahead and type in the medical record number in this field, and this will autofill the patient's name and date of birth right here. All you have to do is enter the date of service, which can be found on the document that you are filing. So it will show somewhere here like date of service, and you'll go ahead and type it in here. For hospital discharge notes, you will need to file the rendering provider section with the clinician who saw the patient last, or file under the PCP. So on EHR, you can go ahead and find that. Whoever saw the patient last, you'll be able to go ahead and free text that patient here, and then you'll get a selection of who the PCP or any doctor that you type in. Tasking notes does not send a task to EHR. It is for reporting purposes, and it is sent to the clinician's PAC. So when you go ahead and type in the clinician's name here, and then you click on file, the clinician that you selected on rendering provider will receive this document on their PAC. So it's not going to be a task on EHR. And we do have residents here in the Venice side at all the sites. So for any resident clinic see schedule below, you can reference here for Rose Peds. You can go ahead and select Dr. Michelle Aguilar as the rendering provider. For Rose residents, family medicine, go ahead and choose Dr. Chung for now. And for Sims, UCLA IM, UCLA Med Peds, or UCLA Peds, here is a schedule Monday through Friday. You can see here. We'll also be sharing this document with you guys. Any OB/GYN provider who sees a patient, it will either be Dr. Lamb, Dr. Stroik, etc. Any questions, please refer to Dr. Lamp. And then all pediatrics for Sims, please file under PCP. And if you don't see any PCP, then it will be Dr. Garrell. Okay. Next, filing documents continued. For notes, you will describe the type of document, either if it's a dermatology, cardio, etc. Any diagnostics type study. So on document type, if it's a medical note, you'll first review what type of medical note it is. If it's a cardiology note, on notes, you'll put cardio note. Or if it's a gastroenterology note, you'll put gastro notes, etc. And the same, if it's a radiology report, you'll put either ultrasound of abdomen or XR, chest, whatever the case you may find on the eFax. And also please note, some documents do have multiple patients, so make sure to double check before filing. For example, Children's Hospital can send a fax containing 4 different patients. So it'll tell you right here, document 1 of 1, page 1 out of 10. You do have to go ahead and click on these arrows to check that it is the same patient. And if it's not, then you will have to file under each pertaining patient. So closing the loop for radiology and referrals. If you get a medical note or radiology note, you will get this pop-up at the bottom where you can link the radiology report or referral to any of these. You have radiology, labs, and referrals. We link radiology and referrals. So once you have entered the patient's information, like stated in the previous slides, you will do 2 extra steps for radiology and referral reports. The first one will be check off radiology or referral, whichever report you are receiving. Please order the matching report you are filing. So if it says it's a radiology report and it's an ultrasound of the chest, then you will go ahead and click on radiology and choose check off US chest, and then click on complete as the second step. Then once that is checked off, it will disappear from the description here, and then you can then file into the patient's chart. This will complete closing the loop for radiology or referral reports. Please note that some radiology reports or referral reports will not have an order to associate with. In this case, just file, and you can go ahead and skip the steps above. You don't have to, since there's nothing here, you won't have to go ahead and check off and complete. This happens because sometimes patients they schedule routine diagnostics exams without the referrals. They do it on their own. So obviously a doctor did not order these and it won't be on here.
And just to add a little information to that, when we complete the referral by checking that box the way Diana just showed us, it updates in our system to show that the order has been received. So it's very helpful because it links to referrals and it helps in the process of ensuring our backlog goes down. Thanks, Diana.
Yes, correct. You're right, Sissy. So for non-patients records, sometimes we do receive medical notes from patients that are either no longer with us or have never been seen at the clinic. When we go ahead and do receive those, we do go ahead and save those under non-patients or not active folder under the roles folder fax. I will soon show you how to access this folder. So this includes patients that have not been seen in the last 3 years. If they haven't been seen in the last 3 years, this automatically makes them as a new patient. So you save the file with the last name, first name, initial, and date of birth. Like for example, last name Smith, their first name initial, and their date of birth. That's how you're gonna file them. To access the folder, go to the X drive labeled encounters $. You'll find it like this. Then you'll go to the rows folder, as you see here. Then you will select fax, and from there you can view non-patients or not active patients. The next slide will show us how to save a PDF file and documents. How to save a PDF and file. When you open the document, click on the printer icon seen here. And once you click on that, you will go ahead and click on the folder icon. Then from the drop-down list, select Adobe PDF. Right here, it'll give you a list of all the printers, but if you select Adobe PDF, you will then click OK and then print. Make sure you select the correct location and fax folder prior to saving. Type in the file name and click save. So once you click on encounter folders, you'll make sure that you're either whichever location you need a file under, SIMS, ROS, fax, and then you click, you file the name and save. So provider signature required. When you receive an eFax that requires a provider signature or clinician signature, those documents requiring clinician signature will go into the provider required signatures folders for each folder. Order forms, for example, physician orders, any documents that are blank, forms that need signature. For SIMS, ROS, and colon, all of them you will place in the required signature folder. You will go to encounter $, then whichever location and fax, and then you will find the provider required signatures, and you will file under that. For medical records request, all sites medical records requests will go into the ROS folder labeled request for medical records. Please delete the PDF file from the batch once it has been forwarded to the correct folder. So once you have filed under ROS, encounters, $ ROS, fax, request for medical records, and you name the folder, then you can go ahead and delete that batch. Junk eFax. The following can be deleted. Provider updates, healthcare LAIPA authorizations, which by the way, these we shouldn't be receiving anymore since Susie did contact them and ask them to please deactivate from sending us these authorizations. Any LA Care letters addressed to patients, patient highlight sheets, spam faxes such as propagandas and medical supplies, please go ahead and feel free to delete any of those junk faxes. Or sometimes we do receive like, oh, you get a discount on this and that. Anything that you see that's a flyer that we don't really need, that's not a medical note or anything like that, go ahead and delete those. Any healthcare LAIPA documents, exceptions with notes written like this provider doesn't do this procedure or update CPT codes, we do not delete. Yeah, if they have anything written on them, like if someone wrote on them with like a marker on top of this healthcare LAIPA document, we go ahead and save those as a PDF and save in the external drive or N drive under the ROS, fax, and then care coordinators folder. Do you guys have any questions in regards to what I have taught so far? I will go ahead and give some examples now on the EHR and document management, and then I'll be giving the part 2, Cynthia, after this. Let's see in the chat. Donna, do you see anything in the chat?
Yeah, so Olivia is now asking about if there's a document we're unsure how to process. So for those, if amongst the team we really don't know what to do with, we usually send them to Susie or Yvette to ask, what do we do with this? Or even sometimes Dr. Mahoney, Dr. Barba, it just depends on what it is. Also, it looks like Betty was asking about folders for South Bay sites. I have just created those. So each site has the same folders that all of the Venice sites have. So we're all on the same page now.
Okay, thank you, Donna. So now I'll be doing
Diana.
some demonstrations on different scenarios. So we have a radiology report here. As we can see, it's a CT abdomen without and with contrast. So on document type, you will type in radiology. And you do have a drop down where you can select from, but you can also type it in. Okay, so after you select it, on the other side, you can search for the patient's date of birth. And then you will search for the patient's name, Santos Julia. So once you have identified, you can go ahead and click on their name. You will see their chart, and under categories, you will go to radiology and see if this report has not been filed yet. And if it has been, then you can go ahead and delete. So this was on 4/18/2023, the date of service. So I don't see anything since February 2023, so I can go ahead and file this. I will go ahead and type in a patient's medical record number. And then you will click on tab, and this will autofill the patient's last name, first name, and date of birth. Then you can go ahead and put in the date of service, which is found in the document. As you see here, procedure date. Then the rendering provider, you can either see here that the rendering provider, the PCP is Dr. Chung. Sorry. Dr. Chung, or you can also view it here when you link who ordered the exam. And this exam was a CT abdomen, and we see it here, CT abdomen. And it was effectively Dr. Chung who requested this. So you will go ahead and check it off and click complete. Now we can minimize this. And now that we know who the rendering provider is, we will go ahead and test them. And on notes, we will choose CT abdomen. Exactly what it says here. With. And then we can click on file, make sure it's the same patient, and then click file again. Then you will get this pop-up letting you know that there are no more documents in the batch. And would you like to post complete documents? Yes. Then this will now complete this filing. So now for the next auto import, we will open, and this example is a medical records request. As you can see, attention medical records department, and they're requesting copies of the 6-month well child exams for this patient. We will save this under, you'll click on the print, and then you will go ahead and choose a printer, which is going to be Microsoft PDF, and then click OK and print. Then you will choose the Encounter $sign folder, and you will look for the rows folder, and then fax, and then provider, sorry, not provider, request for medical records. And right here, you will name it as Vista, VLLAGE, wherever the request is coming from. Vista, V-L-L-A-G.
I think there's supposed to be an I in the middle. It's just like got cut off.
Oh, Village, okay.
Uh-huh.
And if you do see like multiple, you can put either the 1 or 2 or 3. So this will be the second request and you'll click on save. This will then save to the drive, and whoever responsible to print this out and work on them, they will go ahead and do that. So now you can feel free to delete this batch. You can click on the hide page. So you'll click on both. So now removing the last document in this batch, the batch is being deleted. So you click OK. Next example we go ahead and right click and open. And we have a junk fax here. So how you see, this is just the facts. 2023 annual model of care provider training requirements. Any like flyers or anything that you see that doesn't pertain to any patient and it's just junk, you can just go ahead and delete this and you go ahead and click OK. Next, we will go ahead and right click, open. And this is an ophthalmology note. We will go ahead and select the document type as ophthalmology. Choose it. And then on EHR, we can search for the patient. Their date of birth is this. So 4/27/1974. Last name is Liebman with an L. So we go ahead and choose this patient and see who was the provider clinician who saw them last, which was Alexis Murray, but she's no longer with us. So then they don't have a PCP. And this is a SIMS provider. So then we are gonna go based off the scanning distribution. Today is Friday. And today, Dr. Lamp will be the provider we will select. So now we'll select the medical record number, click on tab, autofill last name, first name, and date of birth. And then on the date of service, it will always give it to you on this document, 4/18/2023. So that's what we're gonna go ahead and type. Rendering provider will be Dr. Lamp. On the notes, since it already says ophthalmology here, you can go ahead and leave this blank and you will just go ahead and file.
Diana, I'm sorry.
Yes.
So for the notes, you will need to label those for ophthalmology.
Okay. So then
Yeah, that was a request.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Donna.
You're welcome. And then after this example, I think Cynthia is supposed to do her portion.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
So we will go ahead and file these, and then I will give the part to Cynthia. I'm gonna go ahead and stop sharing my screen.
Okay, Cynthia, are you able to jump right in and share your screen?
Hi. Yes. Let me go ahead and share my screen.
Thank you, Diana.
Okay. Oh, can I get sharing? Right?
You got it.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so I'm gonna move on after what Diana did. So I'll start with medical notes greater than 50 pages. If you get any medical notes that are more than 50 pages, there's two options. You can either print them or save them as a PDF into our ROSE or SIMS fax folder, depending on the provider's preference. Some providers prefer print, or some providers prefer email. So you'll save them by the provider's DINOT number of pages, and then you'll put them in the folder that is relevant to their site. For children's and colon and Levine providers, you will save it in the Rose fax folder until we get further notice of other instructions otherwise. So this is the example of our DINOT instructions. So these are page providers that prefer emails for the over 50 pages. And then these are our providers who prefer to be printed out. For South Bay, as of right now, we're sending it to these providers until we get further instructions. To unlock eFaxes, so if you double click on an eFax and you open it and you decide you don't work on it or you're gonna come back to it later, it will automatically lock under your name. So if you're not gonna continue working on that eFax, we do recommend that you right click on the folder here, and then it'll open the options, and then just make sure you select unlock. That way it unlocks the eFax and somebody else could work on it. To hide a page, some documents we do not want to include the cover pages, like this example shown here. If you want to hide the page, you have to click on the hide page button, and that's the little guy with the mustache with the sunglasses. This guy right here. To unhide the page, you're gonna go ahead and right click and show hidden pages, which is here. Find the page that you wanna unhide, and then click on the hide page button again to unhide it, which is this little guy again. Please note, once you unhide the page, it is not going to be where it first started. So let's just say, for example, the page was in the front. If you unlock it, it's going to be all the way at the end. So it's not locked or hidden. Just remember that it's going to be at the end of the documents that you're filing. How to hide continued for cover letters. There's certain cover letters that we do hide, and then there's certain cover letters that we need to keep. So these are two examples. For medical notes, we do hide them. So this is image A. So if you get from hospital notes, children's hospital, specialty notes, some of them is just a cover page letting you know that you're receiving documents. These we do hide. The only time that we do not hide a cover letter is if it's a cover letter containing information that they need, like a fax number or information on what to do with the documents. For example, example B, this is a medical records request. The cover page does contain information that you're gonna need to process the document. So for example B, you do not delete or hide, but for example A, you can go ahead and hide the page. VFC South Bay locations, at this time actually Donna just let us know today that she created a folder. So any South Bay records, eFaxes that you receive, just go ahead and fax them under the Rose folder until further notice. Distorted faxes and medication refills. If you get a fax that you're not able to read properly, or it's missing information, or it just wasn't scanned correctly, you're gonna save it as a PDF and you're gonna save it in a distorted faxes folder. Any medication refill requests, like this example here, those are deleted. You don't need to save them or file them. The Center for Maternal Fetal Medicine, these are our OB notes. Any documents coming from this facility, you will need to file them under medical notes. Even if it's a radiology report, some of them are ultrasound reports like this example here. you still file them as a medical note. And then you'll label them as maternal family medicine OB for notes, or maternal family medicine OB ultrasound if it's an ultrasound report. CareNet, we've recently been receiving CareNet faxes. This is our nurse triage service. So for this one, you're gonna save it as a PDF and file it under encounters, and then the CareNet after hours folder. And you're gonna label it as message sent and the date it was sent, the time, and the patient's last name. So for example, this one, you would put it as message sent, and it was sent 4/12/2023. And then you would put the patient's last name. We took off the patient's name because of HIPAA, but when you file it, you will put the patient's first and last name. We have other faxes that we do receive on the regular. For pre-ops, we file them under our pre-ops folder. If we get any missing person flyers, those we print out and we give to our security department. Any COVID vaccine copies from outside pharmacies, we print it and put it in Susie's mailbox. For Rose, we have our mailbox behind our security. No, sorry, we don't have it there anymore.
It's by the lunch
Our
room.
mailbox for Rose, yeah, our
Right?
mailbox, yeah, it is. For Rose, it's in the lunchroom, but the other facilities, I believe it's still the security. Durable medical equipment or prior auths, we put it in our care coordinators folder. So you save that as a PDF. Any theft certificates, you're gonna print them and you're gonna hand them off to the site supervisor or the clinic lead for your site. Any referral related requests, you're gonna save those as a PDF, and those go under the coordinators folder as well. Provider update flyers, you save them as a PDF and send them to Susie and Yvette. Any Quest specialist reports, for example, if they send a report saying that the test wasn't performed, you can go ahead and delete them. The staff gets those automatically. Any LA Care prior auth or projections, or Cover My Meds, you're gonna place those in the care coordinator DME auth folder. So those are saved as a PDF as well. And then of course, if you need help, further assistance, questions, you can reach out to us. And then these are our extensions and our email. So then Diana, you can go ahead and finish your examples, and then I'll do my examples.
Thank you, Cynthia. I think I did finish my examples for today. The only thing I wanted to answer, they are still being discussed. I wanted to answer Juan Suarez's question regarding the medication refill request. Don't get processed. Yes, they do, but we do receive them via eFax, and the providers, clinicians also receive them via their pack. So it's like a double. So we don't need those.
Yeah, I'll just speak to that really briefly. Sometimes we get the fax, we get it faxed to multiple places, we get it through the pack, and they call us, and then the patient walks in. So we're trying to prioritize what we're doing and reminding the pharmacies that we would like it sent electronically. And that decision was vetted with Anita Zamora, so she's aware of that change.
Correct. So Cynthia, if you want to share any examples that you have, you can go ahead and do that.
Okay, thank you. Let me share my screen again. Okay, so this is an example of hiding a page. So this one is a hospital notes from UCLA. We do not need the first page. So if you want to hide this page, it's pretty easy. All you have to do is click on this little guy right here. and it hides it for you. And then you go ahead and file the rest of the documents. So you're on the document type, you're going to do medical notes, and then you're going to look for the patient's MRN. Give me a second. Okay, and then you'll put in the patient's MRN, and then the date of service. I usually go based on what's in the bottom, so 4/15. And then the vending provider. And then you just label what type of notes you're filing. And then testing notes. And then you just file. If it's multiple pages, you can just go ahead and click on move to last page and then file, and then it'll automatically file all the pages for you. My next example is CareNet. These are the nurse triage notes. So for these, you're going to click on the printer and then click on the folder. Give me a second. Oh, it's not working. Okay, I'll skip on this one for now.
Cynthia, there is another option when you, if you go back to the CareNet document. I think it's a faster process if we just do this instead of clicking on the print. So if you click on the save, instead of the print, there is the save. It's on blue next to the X on the right-hand side. Yeah, that's just to save the PDF.
Our
Instead of doing
icons
those
are a bit
extra
outdated because we don't use those kinds of discs anymore, but that is a save button.
Yeah, and you just click on that and that's just takes you to the save as instead of clicking on print, Adobe PDF. That saves you extra clicks.
Thank you, Diana. That's good to know. I did not know that. So if you
No floppy
do
disks.
the option that Diana just said, yeah, you're gonna go ahead and select encounters, and then you're gonna go to rows, and you're gonna go to fax. Oh no, wait, sorry, I'm like way off. Let me go back. So if you go to encounters, we do have a CareNet folder. You double click on the CareNet folder, and then you label it. And then you hit save. And this will save it to the encounters. So now you don't need to keep this page. You can just hit the little hide guy and it will delete the batch. And then my last example is for the maternal fetal medicine. When you receive these, we don't need the cover page. So again, just go ahead and hide it. And then you're gonna go under document type. You're gonna select medical notes. Again, you just search the patient. You put their MRN number. You select the date of service, the PCP, and then you just put the description. And then you file. Any questions?
Yes, there were questions. It looks like Diana had answered them.
Can I ask that you just go back to one more example? You know, at the bottom where you link the document to the referral or to the diagnostic, can we just look to see, there's 3 options. One is diagnostic. I can't remember what the second one is. The other one is referral. So earlier, Gladys said that referrals don't show up, and it could just be a matter of clicking those different tabs. So I'm not sure if that would be helpful for us to review here.
Yeah, I can go ahead and share my screen and show you. One is for radiology, the second one is for labs, and the third one is referrals. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Okay. So if we open this file, this is a medical note. So we hide the cover letter, and then if we type in medical note and then find the patient, you can also do so by clicking here on this little notebook icon and click on lookup. You will then search up their date of birth. Atala. Oh, as you see, we have this is an
Duplicate.
interesting case, duplicate patient. But since I have filed for this patient, I know that this is the correct patient. And then when you do see duplicate patients, please, do we send those to you, Susie?
Sure.
We can send them to Susie or the site manager, correct? From what I remember.
At the Venice sites, it's the site manager. At the South Bay sites, I'm still not sure if they're trained to merge them. So yeah, you could CC the site manager and me, and that would be probably the easiest way.
Correct. Yeah, when you see a duplicate patient. So then you type in the date of service, which is 4/13/2023. As you hear, that's their admin date. Rendering provider. We'll go ahead and search for that.
So what I really wanted to be able to show folks is just at the bottom, where it says under the person number, it says unlink and link. I think that there's other tabs, like if you expand that window.
Yes.
You're doing that. Okay.
Okay, so we go ahead and expand this, and then you have the radio button for radiology, labs, and referrals. So for this is a medical note. So we will go to referrals, and then you will find them here. If they were referred to emergency department, you will go ahead and find that here, check it off, and click on complete. But since they were not referred to emergency department, they just pretty much, it seems like they went on their own. We go ahead and skip this step and just file. But this is where you will find the different scenarios: radiology, labs, and referrals.
Thank you, Diana. Gladys, I see your hands up.
Yes, Susie, I have a question.
Mhm.
Cynthia mentioned about the medical records that needed to be thinned out over 52 pages.
50
Um,
pages, yes.
yeah, for our site here, she mentioned that they're being pasted at rows. How would we be retrieving those? Because I only check our folder, the CHC folder, to retrieve whatever's being dropped there.
Yeah, I think we made a few changes because we're hoping that that's something we can assign to the medical record staff, but we can circle back after this. Rachel had some guidance. Rachel, the Senior Director of Clinical Operations, my new supervisor, had some guidance around that, but we'll follow up and I'll tell you if there's any updates around that.
Okay, thank you.
Looks like Betty's asking if we can explain the tasking note. So I'll touch on that a little bit and then I'll turn it over to Susie because she is the expert
Well,
on
actually, I don't mind. I don't mind talking
Okay.
about it. Yeah. So
Okay,
tasking
there you
note
go.
doesn't have to do with tasking. What it really is helping us categorize what it's related to. And I don't remember what the different options are, but it could be like we're tasking it to referral category to. So it helps us distinguish what category it's in. And it's a report that we create through the report server that allows us to look at what information is coming through. I don't think it's as relevant anymore because now we've turned on the feature to link it to the referrals. But before it was like we wanted to tease out care coordination stuff so that the staff can make sure to go back and run that report and then complete the referral, mark the referral complete in the system. But now that we're linking it, we don't have to use it as much, but we haven't made the decision to get rid of it completely. Does that answer it, Donna, you think?
Yes, it does. You know, like you said, we're still doing it just in case. So thank you,
Sounds good.
Susie.
Yeah.
And before we end, I also want to touch base on pre-op folder that was created. I don't know if many of you know, but under the category section, when we do receive pre-op requests for a patient to either receive like a history and physical or any labs, we did used to save them under a folder that would say pre-ops, just like the other ones, like for example, medical records. Now we have a document type that says pre-op and we can go ahead and file under that.
Yes, thank you for pointing that out. That is correct and very important because providers want to see it in the patient chart. And I believe front desk goes to the patient chart to look for it if a patient comes in for that type of lab draw or whatever procedure they're going to have. So very important, needs to be filed. So we are, Go ahead, Cynthia.
Sorry, Donna. I was just trying to show. So if you do file this, I'm not going to file this one, but if it was a pre-op file, you would just go under document type and select pre-op, which is right here. And this will drop it down to the categories in EHR.
Okay, thank you so much. If one of you, since you are screen sharing, can you go to the encounters drive for me, please? And then just show that the South Bay locations have been created and then the folders under there, you could click on one of them and they'll be able to see the new folders that were created. Okay, so see, we have Carson, Carol, Keene, Carson Wellness Center, Redondo, South Bay Family Health. So if you click on one of those are going to be the South Bay locations. Double click. And then you're going to have to click on faxes because I'm sure they'll use that for other stuff. And these are the folders, sorry, that have been created. And every example that Cynthia and Diana went through, this is where you're going to file those. Any questions on the folders? Olivia, you have your hand up. I'm not sure if it's in regards to the folders, but go ahead, please.
I was just gonna refer back to the question I had about a document that we're unsure of where it needs to go or if it needs to be deleted. You said that we can send it to Susie. Do we download it or to whoever it may, you know, who, is there a group
Ye-
that we?
No, you
send
just
it-
save it to your desktop and then, or you could create a folder like document questions or however you want to save it, but it'll still be in your batches because you won't delete it. Just
Okay.
make sure that you keep that locked to you.
Uh-huh.
And then try to follow up or get a follow-up answer as soon as possible because we want to take care of those and delete those.
Okay.
But you do save it as a PDF and send it. But personally, I usually send them to Susie and Yvette. One of them, I mean, they're very responsive, so.
So she's on vacation sometimes, though, I think. I'm joking.
That's Susie, I don't know.
I
Thank
see
you.
Lorena's hand up, but we
yes.
are at 3:01.
Yeah.
So that'll be the last question, please.
Sorry, just going back to the file, the tasking file. Are we supposed to select that or not select it? And
So,
how do we know who to select it or send the
so the
task to?
tasking notes are not actually tasks like how we task communications. That the name is a little bit deceiving. We are supposed to select it as Diana said, and probably it's referenced inside the PowerPoint as well. But we don't, it's not like I'm tasking it and sending it to Susie or I'm tasking it and sending it to Lorena. It's just that it categorizes it in a special category so that when we run a report, we can identify all of the ones that are related to referrals, all the ones that are related to pre-op notes, all the, you know, so it's just an extra way for us to be able to retrieve information should we need it. And if it's not clear, you and I can go over it. You can stay on and I'll go over it with you at the end.
Okay. Thank you.
Actually, I'll Teams you because this is being recorded. Thank you.
Okay, so does anybody else, well, I can't say that because we are
We'll-
at time.
Yeah, we'll wrap up.
Okay, so thank you guys, everybody for attending. And, you know, you can always reach out to an EMR trainer and you will be getting the documents and it will get easier as it goes. So thank you so much.
Correct. If you guys think you guys need additional training, we always do one-on-ones. Please go ahead and email us at emrtrainers at metnet.ucla.edu, and we'll be happy to go ahead and put something on our schedule to do a one-on-one training with you.
Thank you.